Home buyers, you should be thrilled. What you have been hoping for 6 months is here. There is more inventory coming on. This is very good news. I have a whole bunch of reports and data and different things to show you as to why you should be happy and why you also should be extremely motivated to buy over the next 90 to 120 days. Because if you don't and you wait till next year, I guarantee you will pay more. Remember, last spring when everyone thought the world was falling, I said, if you are one of these people that bailed out on buying a home, you will end up regretting it a year from now. Here we are a year later. Home prices are up 20% higher roughly than they were a year ago, and people are seeing that. So I am telling you today, I'm making another bold prediction that even though we are in a better buyer's market and the next 90 days will be the best buyer's market that we've seen in almost 2 years, and I'm going to show you why, you'll regret it if you don't. So I want to go over that with you. I also want to talk to sellers. Sellers, here's the truth. You are still ruling the roost, but be careful. Don't overplay your hand. Many of you are overplaying your hand and acting as if it's still February, and that's why some homes are coming on the market and not selling. There was a brief period of time back in the winter that there was somewhat of a name your price. That is gone. Still a strong market, no denying it. Still a seller's market, no denying it. But kind of the craziness and the out of controlness of the market is not happening. So it's good news to see that things are getting a little bit more back in check. I always do this with my hands. In the winter, there were this many buyers, this many sellers. Well, now it's like this, a little closer. Anthony Lamacchia here, broker owner of Lamacchia Realty. Excited to be here with you today talking about Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and maybe for 2 minutes I'll touch on South Florida at the end, and then I'm going to be doing a full South Florida report at the end of this week. So let's dive into it. What is going on in the real estate market? Well, buyers have been very, very frustrated, and it is finally looking up for buyers. All of you that have been so, angry and disappointed, it's time for you to start to get happy again. This does not mean that we are suddenly going to face a crash. We're starting to hear buyers say things like, but wait, there's not 15 offers? Why not? Wait, there's only 5 offers? The home came on the market this morning and there's no offers yet. Oh my God, there must be something wrong with the home. And we love you buyers. We wouldn't be in business without you, but you all do this every time. And it's a mistake, okay? It is a mistake. I guarantee you, as I said in my opening, home prices will be higher 1 year from today than they are now. So just because now there's more choices doesn't mean that the market is somehow collapsing, that the market is falling. Just because there's only 10 offers, notice I say only, it sounds completely absurd, 10 offers on a home as opposed to 30, oh my God, it must be changing. Yes, it's improving, but this doesn't mean it's crashing. So buyers, don't get caught up in it. Don't start to get, to wonder, to get, I want to say, somewhat caught up in the hype and, overreact and not score a property, okay? That would be crazy. There were also buyers 60 to 90 days ago that I said to you buyers, don't give up. We saw many buyers suddenly go out and lease properties, sign another 1 year lease, go back to renting. And we're like, what are you doing? Now in 1 year, your lease is going to come up right at the toughest time of year again. Now, granted, I will admit, what we saw this past winter was the biggest frenzy of excessive buyers and low amounts of sellers that we've ever seen. And I don't think it'll ever be that bad. But I can tell you next winter, there will be multiple bidding wars. There will be some frenzy, as there still is right now. But it's a little better because more inventories come on. So that's my discussion with buyers. Now I'm going to talk to sellers a little bit. Then we're going to jump into the data so that I can explain why to you. Sellers, don't overplay your hand. Every single year in June and July, we see tons of sellers dramatically overprice their homes because they're looking at sold statistics from sales that came together back in the winter when inventory was excessively low. And I'm going to show you soon, and I'll mention it when I go through. When inventory was excessively low, and let's say you get a town of 40, 50,000 people like where I live in Watertown, and you got 2 single families for sale at a given time, or 1 single family, it sells a 100,000 over asking price. Buyers get frustrated, right? Sellers love it. Those properties are closing now, and now there are sellers that are saying, oh, interesting, that property sold for 700. Well, I happen to think that I have a nicer chandelier, and I think that I have nicer baseboards, and my flowers are prettier, so I want to list at 850. And then it doesn't sell, and the sellers blame their realtors. This has been going on for decades. I have been quoted as saying many times in the newspaper, the Boston Globe, and on the news, that us realtors get more credit than we deserve when homes sell fast, and we get more blame than we deserve when homes don't sell. Well, that is the truth in both cases here. And I want you all to be aware of it because that's how it works. And I want sellers to understand that if you overplay your hand and if you reach too far with your price, you will regret it, even in this hot market, even in this market that is still very much leaning towards, very much leaning towards the seller's market still. But it's a little better. If this was a gauge, right? If all the way over here was extreme seller's market, and over here you went into buyer's market, right here, right? We're probably here now. We're still seller's market. If the midpoint is where you start to go into buyer's market, we're probably here. By fall, it'll get a little better on buyers, not so good on sellers, but I don't think we're ever going to go into a buyer's market this year, right? I don't think so. So those are things to think about. Those are things to be aware of, okay? Those are things to be aware of as a seller, not to overplay your hand and to listen to your realtor's advice. And, in most cases, you need to be doing that. And buyers, not to overreact by thinking, oh my God, the market has changed. Now what I want to do is I want to walk you through the data to back up why I'm saying that. I already see some questions coming in. I'll get to them after. But what I want to do now is I want to go through the data. And I want to show you some reports. So this is our page, massrealestateupdates.com. And you can see here, I'm going to try to zoom this a little bit more for your viewing pleasure. And I'm going to explain the data. Now, here's how it goes. See the turquoise line? That is homes listed in a given week, okay, right here. Homes listed in every single week, how many homes are listed. You can see that we had 2 weeks in a row with 3,000 homes listed. And if you look closely across here, that was more homes listed than any single week so far in 2021 or 2020. You had to go back to 19 to see the same amount. So we had some of our biggest weeks of homes listed in the beginning of June once we got past Memorial Day. That's good news, and that is part of the reason that buyers suddenly now have more choices. Instead of open houses having 70 people, they're having 30, okay? Hope that makes sense. Allow me to continue here. Now look at the amount of single families, condos, and multis listed for sale at any given Saturday. This is a snapshot in time. Now look at this. We're up to about 8,500 homes for sale. This is in Massachusetts right here, okay? Best level that we've been in year to date, and you would have to go back to last November to see that. So obviously we went excessively low in the winter. We all know that. We don't have to keep going on about it. Now you look at single families, they're up to 4,300. They have surpassed last November and December. So we are getting better. Good news for buyers. Homes pending per week, take a look at the turquoise line. We are well over, let me see here. We are over, I'm looking at this and I know another number that I saw in another report and I'm questioning if something is right. I know this is right. So in a given week, okay, take a look at the pending data. It is up. over last year, each week. It's also because we have more inventory. Homes sold per week. Look at this. Now we're getting into June. It is going to skyrocket this week and next. End of June is always the biggest week of the year for closings. Last year, it obviously went into July and August because of what was going on. And that's why it did that. So homes sold is strong. Now take a look at this is a very interesting indicator that I look very closely at every week. The percentage of properties that go pending in a given week based on how many homes are for sale. So what we do here, let me explain this a little bit better. What we do here is we measure the amount of homes for sale on a Monday, and then we say, okay, how many total are for sale? And then we measure the whole week. How many of the total that are for sale went pending that week? Very interesting data. Truly tells us what's going on in the market. Look at year to date. Almost every week since March, okay, we're talking about more than 30% of properties going pending, other than Easter weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and I want to say this is Mother's Day weekend. Mother's Day weekend always has a bigger impact on the market than Father's Day. It seems that things slow down more then. I think the moms deserve it. So look here. There was a low week of pendings following Memorial Day weekend. Last week, more than 30% pending. The week after, more than 30% pending once again. Very, very strong data. Look at the average prices here in Massachusetts, folks. $573,000. Last May, $484,000. My friends, that's almost a 20% increase in property values. And that's why I emphasize, and I hate to sound like I'm saying I told you so, but I did. Okay, and when I hear buyers and I hear the naysayers say things that aren't accurate and they can't be backed up by data, when they say things like, well, there's a bubble, it's going to crash. Okay, at some point, we are going to see a housing correction. There's no question. You go back 200 years, it happens often, every 10 or 15 years. We are nowhere near there in the next year. Beyond that, I can't see. Now, I will admit, it's been interesting over the last few weeks to see more homes get listed, pendings fall a little bit behind keeping up. Because remember, we had more pendings than we did homes getting listed for sale. I saw a realtor here, Deborah Higgins, I recognize her name, asking why would a seller want to sell off market? Well, there are sellers that want to sell off market. Off market sales are up across the country. And that's because more sellers are finding buyers. More sellers haven't wanted people in their home due to COVID, but that has improved. Generally speaking, Deborah is right. Sellers will sell for more money when they are on the open market, no doubt. But there are sellers that don't care. They just want to sell. And they want to sell without people coming through their home. They want a set number. They want to know what number they're getting so they can make an offer on other homes. That's why those things happen. So when I look at where we're at and you look at that data in Massachusetts, you can see that we're at a turning point in the market, and it's happened since the beginning of June. And as I said, remember when I did the meter a little while ago, there's no doubt we're still in a seller's market. I'm not denying it. But sellers, if you push the envelope too much, that's when you'll see buyers pull back. We are already seeing buyers say things like, wait a second, there's not 75 people at this open house. Is there something wrong with the house? And us realtors laugh. Buyers spent all winter and all spring getting frustrated, getting aggravated, and spouting off about how mad they were that there was so much competition. Some buyers completely threw their hands up. They shouldn't have. Threw their hands up, backed out of the market, said, I'm going to rent for another year. And now there's more choices. And some buyers say, well, geez, something must be wrong. No, nothing is wrong. This is simple market behavior. I want to bring you back there, okay? I want to bring you back into the report, and I want to show you once again, okay? Take a look at homes listed per week, right here. Homes listed per week in Massachusetts. Every single year, pre-COVID or after, winter, there's less listings. Last year before COVID, it went up, then it went down. When COVID hit, the amount of homes listed per week went down, never went below 1,000 in a week, which fascinated me in our state. And then in the summer, the amount of listings goes up. Now, this is homes listed per week, but if we do a snapshot right here, you can see that every year inventory is lower in the winter, comes up in the summer, peaks usually around October, then goes back down. This is normal market behavior. We are still, look where we are right now, in an excessively low inventory market with a massive amount of buyers. So we're still experiencing some extremes. We're still experiencing people fighting over properties, but it's a little better. And buyers should be celebrating that. It's terrific news. Now what I want to do on our website is I'm going to go right up here with all of you watching, and I'm going to type in New Hampshire. We're going to look at New Hampshire real estate updates. We do a lot of business in New Hampshire, a tremendous amount of business up in southern New Hampshire, okay, bordering with Massachusetts. We've got a beautiful new state-of-the-art office up there in Chelmsford. I was there this morning, and a tremendous amount of our Chelmsford agents work the southern New Hampshire market. So don't our Woburn agents. So I'm always getting a lot of reports on what's going on there in addition to this data. Southern New Hampshire has been as hot as Massachusetts for about 13, 14 months. The Lakes region roared after the pandemic because people wanted to be in vacation land. Ski country roared. That's where I love to be in the winter, ski country. Now, take a look here. Homes listed per week. You can see that we're improving. Now, New Hampshire never got affected as dramatically last year as Massachusetts. Massachusetts listeds went down and stayed down. This was a lot quicker. If you look at the orange, now you look at the turquoise, homes are getting listed, folks. It's happening. Homes are pending. So there's still a lot of properties selling, but it's a little better. There's a little more to choose from. You buyers should be thrilled to pieces. Homes sold, we're rocking here. The next 10 days, there'll be tremendous amounts of closings. Now you look at the average prices. We are approaching 400,000, folks. 400,000 in the state of New Hampshire. Once again, very, very strong market that we're seeing there. And that is because of really market fundamentals. We've got a booming economy. A lot of people, despite what happened with jobs, a lot of people are flush with cash. The government's done a tremendous amount of stimulus. Banks have been smart about working with people who are concerned about paying their mortgages. That has simply made things easier, okay, and made it so that more people have more money. The last report that I want to show you, and I'm going to pull it up here, is the May Real Estate Updates report. And I'm going to jump in here and pull that up. We're going to go to resources on our beautiful new website. Our marketing team did a terrific job. Go right here to housing reports. Massachusetts housing report. I know that Cole worked hard and got this up this morning. The May report. Mass, New Hampshire. I read it this morning. Look at this. Home sales up 49%. Now, some people hear that, oh my God, well, here's where I'll keep it real, folks. That is because last year home sales were so low in May because everything slowed down. Okay, so don't get concerned about that, or don't get, some irrational exuberance, an Alan Greenspan term from 15 years ago, to think, wow, they're up 49%. There's some fat in that, okay? There's a fluff factor in that, and it is because sales were down so much last year. Now, if I go here, we already looked at that, the amount of homes, the sale prices. Now, if we look at this, homes sold last year, 5,700. Well, obviously, because we had the market shut down. But now we're at 8,600. So it's strong. The homes listed for sale is up over 2020, obviously. I want to see homes listed for sale, even compared to 2019, is up a bit. Glad to see that. Homes placed under contract, pending sales over May 2020 were up 20%, but only 2.7% over 2019. So you're going to see us, as I said last month, compare to 19 more and more, okay? Because we're in a sense of, abnormalcy when you compare to last year. Homes listed up 9.5%. Mentioned that. Hold on a second. We have a typo. That says 9.5. How dare I doubt Cole? Yep, 9.5%. Okay. Home spending up 20%, price adjustments only up 3.4%. New Hampshire sales up 14%. So again, that points to what I was saying. New Hampshire did not get affected as much as Massachusetts last year. So New Hampshire sales are up, but they also weren't down as much last May. Look at the sale price average increase in New Hampshire. Look at this. Average sale price right now in New Hampshire, $447,000 compared to $341 a year ago. So what's ahead? Well, right here we're talking about all different kinds of things. They also mention the blog that we just put out. Buyers will need to be advised that there's nothing wrong with the house if others aren't lining up out the door to see it, or if it takes more than 48 hours. We put that in there, my friends, because just what I mentioned. We always see a little bit of a sense of worry among buyers. Buyers still seem to have 2008 post-traumatic stress. And I should talk about that for a couple minutes. Maybe this is a video we'll peel off and send to buyers. You know, in 2008, we had several crises happen at once. We had a credit crisis. I remember like yesterday, they were giving people mortgages, not just for 100% of what the people were paying. They were giving borrowers mortgages for over and above what they were buying homes for. They were giving people mortgages that shouldn't have gotten them. It's just a fact. They were giving people massive mortgages that could only afford small mortgages. None of the above is happening now. You have to have good credit. You have to have a legitimate down payment. There's still programs like FHA that exist, but they're stringent, right? 3.5% down. You can do it, but you've got to have your ducks in a row. You've got to have good credit, et cetera, fair credit, et cetera. So this 2008 post-traumatic stress that we seem to still be experiencing in the marketplace is interesting. And I think that buyers need to chill. We have a good jobs market, a booming economy. You can't get a contractor to do any work on your house, any work on anything, because they're all so busy being stretched in all different directions. Those who want to be employed are gainfully employed. Unemployment is running out. People are getting jobs again. There's job postings everywhere. This is nothing like 07, 08. It's not even close. And I knew that, and I knew that 14 months ago when I put out a blog that said this is not 2008. Lindsay's going to post that blog in the comments because I want you all to read it. There's still too many people that think, well, is the shoe going to drop? My friends, it's all about inventory. Inventory is excessively low. Now, in a year, if inventories triple, would I sit here and say, well, folks, we might be in for a correction? Yes, I would say that to you all. And you have my word. I've been 10 years doing real estate updates. I used to be on Fox 25 all the time, starting 10 years ago, talking about what was going on in the market and telling it like it is. And I am committed to doing the same thing, even when we are headed for a correction down the line. But we are nowhere near that at this time. It's not possible. Inventory is too low. We have roughly, let's go back to that report right now. I'm going to bring it back up. Let's look at how many homes we have for sale. Massachusetts right now, right here. No, that's homes listed per week. Hang on. I'm going to bring you to resources. Let's think about this. I'm going to bring you to Mass. No, you know what? I'm going to do something else. I want to show you all the 2008 report, which I know Lindsay already posted in the comments. I know Lindsay. She gets things done very quickly. Here you go. Let me make sure you can all see this report. I just want to show you this for a couple of minutes. In this report, I break down why, why it's not 2008. Look at this report. When things started to get bad in 2006, very end of 2006, we saw signs of the market changing. There were 42,000 homes for sale, my friends. We have what? What did I just show you on the screen? 8,500? This was 5 times the inventory. And let me tell you, it didn't crash in 06. It began to crash in 07, and it was crashed by 08. Okay, but look at the inventory, 42,000 homes for sale. Right now we have 8,500, and we have more buyers than ever. That is why I can state with confidence on camera to you all, being recorded for the evening news if they want to run it, You will not see a crash. It's not going to happen in the next year, year and a half. Beyond that, I can't see. I only can see as far as the data will show me. All right, let's see if I should take some questions. Jack Attridge, one of the best realtors up in the North Shore, works a lot in the Marblehead and Swampscott markets. Jack said demand is the only thing driving this market. There's a tremendous amount of demand. There's no doubt about it. I would also add that the low inventory, and I know Jack would agree, the low inventory is making it worse. It's exacerbating it. Let me see. Christine Serafini, awesome realtor out in Albany, New York. Data tells the story and it doesn't lie. Hey, numbers don't lie. Deborah Higgins. I suspect Deborah is a realtor. I'm not sure of that, but that's what I think. And why would a seller want to sell off market? I touched on that already. There are some sellers that's what they'd rather do. Like it or not, I'm in agreement. Or if that's what she's implying, I suspect that Deborah's a realtor. If she is implying that, maybe talking about our links program, perhaps that's why she's asking on a public forum, and that's okay. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a seller. I don't know. But there are sellers that want to sell off market and that want to avoid having to be on the market. And that is because some people don't want people in their house because of COVID. Some people want to just get a sure number. Some people don't want to deal with showings, open houses, etc. It's the way it is. Despite how much we tell sellers that we make it as easy and convenient and accommodating on them as possible, there are sellers that don't want to, and that's why you're seeing more off-market sales. You're also seeing more off-market sales because there's very little on the market, which creates very little on the market. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're seeing it because buyers are finding sellers. And you're also seeing this because realtors are finding sellers. That's why this is going on more. Bill McGowan, great realtor in our company out of our Waltham branch. He said our off-market list is a huge draw for sellers and buyers. Just spoke with a seller about 10 minutes ago. Bill's 100% right. We have a fantastic system called Lamakia Links. Lindsay, could you please share the link to Lamakia Links in the comments here so people can look at it? This is a proprietary database that we created a couple of years ago where all of our buyer and seller leads are matched up to see if there's matches, and it tells our realtors, hey, you've got a match, speak to realtor so-and-so. There's a wall in between for confidentiality. And that's why we are seeing more buyers find properties before they're listed. And our buyers love it. And some of our sellers love it because they don't want to go on the market. So, Bill, thanks for shouting that out. Let's see here. New comments. Deborah, I knew you were a realtor. Oh, you were replying to Bill McGowan. That's okay. No problem. We appreciate you paying attention in the commentary. It adds for a good, healthy discussion. Lisa Hayford. So Lisa raises a good point here. She's one of our top realtors in the company. She's out of our Beverly office, lives up in Newburyport, handles that market up there. But it's interesting. Even though she works mostly up there and a slight bit in Boston, she's pointing out how now that Boston is back up, the city is busy again. She's right. And we're also seeing some of that have an impact on Metro West. There's people less scared of buying in Boston now. You remember last year, we had a run on the Metro West. We had a run on north of Boston, south of Boston, settling down a little bit. And that's quite okay. Carol McDonald, a great realtor that just joined us today, joined our Chelmsford branch. She's saying she loves the numbers. Carol, lots more numbers where those come from. Glad to have you with us. So that pretty much concludes what I wanted to say for Mass and New Hampshire. Lisa Jones, one of our top realtors down in our Fort Lauderdale market in South Florida, she said, fast-paced and competitive, but getting better. That is what she has to say about what's going on in South Florida. So she's right about that. It is getting a little better. What I find interesting is our realtors here in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maine. We have realtors in all those states. I got to make sure to mention the other states. I stayed heavy on Mass and New Hampshire today. But they were telling us right around late April, hey, you know what? It's getting a little better. There's a little more to choose from. It took until about 3 weeks ago for our South Florida realtors to mention this. There was a delay on that, and that's because there's just so much demand for vacation markets. And what market is better vacation market than South Florida? I love being down there. It's a great market. We help a lot of people down there. And I will be doing, Lindsay, what time on Friday? am I going live talking about South Florida? I want to say it's on Friday. I think it's at 1 o'clock. So we'll post it. It will be on our Fort Lauderdale Facebook page. If you don't follow our Fort Lauderdale Facebook page, I recommend that you do. Lindsay will put the link to that page in the comments. We put out a lot of good housing reports about South Florida. And even though South Florida is a different market, it's telling. There are trends. There are things that we see. I was in a meeting with our South Florida realtors last week, and so many of the things that they tell me that are going on, I hear the same exact things up here. The same exact things. So a couple more comments from some people here. Kate Perrine talked about how people, I'm going to show that comment. I don't care. Kate, I don't know why the comment's not going up. She talked about how some sellers don't want to go on the market with elderly parents, or perhaps they have a firearm in the home, or jewelry. We also saw a seller last year had tremendous expensive art, and they didn't want to have people coming through. So that's another answer, but that's okay. Let's jump here to Sean McGrail. Sean just joined us out in our Worcester office after some time away. Rent is sky high, and potential buyers are very aware they could just pay a mortgage. Sean is right about that. And here's what's interesting. The buyers that got, what drives me up the wall is every single winter the same things happen. Buyers come out before sellers. Buyers get frustrated. Buyers by spring end up saying, that's it, not all of them. That's it, I don't want to be on the market, okay? I'm going to go back to renting a percentage of them. So it decreases the amount of buyers. Then by summer, why isn't there multiple offers on this home? There must be something wrong with the home. You're so predictable, folks. We love you all, but you're so predictable. You want to go rent for another year, fine. But mark my words, next winter you're going to be in the same position. Maybe not quite as bad, but it'll be bad enough that it'll annoy you to death. Carol McDonald is pointing out it's great to get closer to a more balanced market. She's right. We're nowhere near a balanced market. We're still erring on the side of sellers big time. But it's great to see it improving. Mark Ottinger. Mark is a realtor, old friend of mine down in, I want to say, St. Louis. And he said, I agree, stated income loans along with the bank crisis was a major driver of the 07 crash. None of that is present today. Mark's completely right. And I actually learned to sell foreclosures with banks 12, 13 years ago, learned from Mark. He did a lot of that work. So Mark knows firsthand that what we're seeing today is nothing like we saw leading up to 07. Barbara pointing out people love our off-market listings. Okay, Lindsay, thank you for saying that. So we're doing our Florida update Friday at 4 o'clock. That's right. I know we've got a big meeting before, and then I'll go live right here talking about the Florida market. I'd like to do it around some palm trees or something. Lindsay, we got to get a palm tree in here. And I could, we got something like it over there. And I could go over that. So, my friends, that is all for the local to where I'm sitting now. Massachusetts and New Hampshire real estate update. A lot of similarities to Rhode Island, Connecticut. I will say we're seeing more people go into northern Rhode Island and northern Connecticut, where the Worcester markets are Worcester County and a lot of those southern border Massachusetts towns, Douglas, Dudley, Millville, places like that are just so busy with so much buyer activity. Some people are going over the border. That's all, my friends. Thank you all so much. Great to see you all. And I will be back to see you in 1 month. And I'll see you on Friday on the Fort Lauderdale page talking about the Southern Florida market. Thanks, my friends. Happy home buying. Happy home selling.